I think we're live.
We're live.
Hey, welcome to Stay on Target, guys.
Welcome.
Yeah.
Welcome.
I think we're live.
We're live.
I think we're live.
Yes.
We did a little
Yeah.
video intro crawl thing. I don't know if it worked, but
Right.
happy Stay on Target Day.
Yeah. Stay on target.
Stay on Target Day.
It's Friday night,
Woo.
and we are
Woo.
live to YouTube right now. So
Hi, you.
thanks for joining us. We got a little cool, different setup here. We got a nice little Dustin and Nick camera.
Oh,
Hello.
Hey.
hello.
Wait, which
you
one
can
is
see
it?
our faces.
Is it
It's
one?
it's that one.
It's that one. I forgot.
that one.
You guys lost
This
the
one up
privilege.
here.
What?
You lost the privilege. We're going
Right.
back to
No, right off the bat.
Now I'll go to the sad cam.
Yes, the sad cam. Wow. So how you guys doing? You guys had a good week?
Yeah, I was busy.
It was a busy week.
Yeah, it was a rough week. Rough week.
Close to holidays.
Yeah.
Everything's ramping up.
Yeah,
Getting
ramping up.
crazy.
Everybody, you guys, everything ramping up out there and the ether.
The ether.
The ether. Tell us.
Yeah.
Tell us through the chat.
Tell us through the
Yeah.
chat. Yeah,
We
you
have
guys
a
ready
chat.
for Christmas? Are you all finished with all your shopping?
Never.
Are you not even close?
Have you even
Haven't
started?
even started.
Have you even
No.
started?
Oh, man.
Don't plan to.
Panic sets in.
Yeah.
Yeah,
A mild panic.
just a mild panic.
Just a mild panic.
And then at that point, right before Christmas Eve, that's when you start
That's
your
when
shopping.
you go. You
Yeah.
just
Yeah,
go.
definitely.
When everybody else is doing it.
That's when you decide to give money.
This is
right.
why you go to school, kids.
Is there a class that
There's a
teaches you
class
how
that
to
teaches
shop for Christmas?
How to prepare for Christmas.
It's called
101.
Christmas shopping.
Yeah. Okay. Well, it's
All
a
right.
Star
Yeah.
Wars show, but it's about all things and mostly Star Wars things. So we're
We
going to
haven't
talk about all kinds of things tonight. It's Christmas time, so we're
Yeah.
talking about Christmas. And there's a special movie coming out in less than a week now,
Yeah.
I believe.
yeah?
Oh, yeah?
Yeah. It goes-
Jumanji 2.
Jumanji 2. Hey, the first
Oh
Jumanji
my
was a good
gosh.
movie.
Right.
It was.
I didn't see it.
Well, do
You
you
haven't
mean
seen that
I haven't
one?
even
Do you
seen
mean
it.
the original one?
Well, the original one was good, obviously.
Robin
Obviously.
Williams.
But no, the one with Dwayne Johnson,
Yeah, what was that one called?
Jumanji.
Was it really?
I'm pretty sure it was just called Jumanji.
Was it?
I think so, but it's. I really like that one.
Yeah, it was a good
It
one.
was surprisingly very well done. It felt the most like a video game movie
It
Yeah.
did.
than any other video game movie that tried
Right.
to be a video game movie.
Okay.
Which was weird because Jumanji was a board game.
I know.
Yeah.
But they switched it up, but
But
it
they
worked
switched
really
it up.
well.
Yeah.
Almost anytime you put Dwayne Johnson in a film, he's probably one of the last
True leading men in
yeah,
the sense
in
Yeah.
Hollywood in
Yeah.
a way. That's
I would say
always
so.
going to draw a crowd.
Right.
Because anything he's in, you know it's going to have quality.
Yeah.
Even
Yeah.
if the movie's terrible,
Subpar.
Yeah, right.
It's like, oh, look, there's
he's
the
in
Rock.
it.
Yeah.
He
It's
brings it-
already better.
He
Yeah.
brings it in every movie. I
Yeah.
agree. Yeah.
Yeah. So anyway,
Welcome to Stay on Target.
Welcome
where we
to Stay
talk
on
about
Target.
Jumanji.
Jumanji. Welcome to Jumanji on Target.
Jumanji on Target.
What?
I don't know what we're doing. Dan's over there talking or something.
Techno
Yeah, just
babble.
getting
babble.
ready for this thing. So,
All right, yeah.
all right.
We're
so
Thanks for joining us,
Thanks
though,
for joining
everybody.
us. Yeah.
Yeah.
If you have any questions or comments while you're watching, if you want to write in on your keyboard or your
flail
phone,
hands
text
about it.
International
us.
signal for writing on the keyboard.
Yeah.
The
You don't even need a
universe-
keyboard.
Oh man,
It's
Wow.
Friday.
night.
It's Friday
Yeah.
night. Yeah. So if you have any questions, please let us know. We have a fact checker
Yeah.
here tonight. Thank you,
Hey,
fact
fact
checker
checker.
producer.
Yeah, fact checker.
So yeah,
She's a
checking the
mute.
audio. Make sure if anything sounds weird or looks weird, let us know in the chat there. But
Yeah.
otherwise, we're going to talk about. We just watched Chapter 6
Yep.
of The
Yes.
Mandalorian and really enjoyed it.
The
Oh
Prisoner.
man.
Oh man, no spoilers right off the bat, right?
Yeah, no
We don't-
spoilers right now,
right
but
now, 'cause
it
we
was
wanna
one
give
of the
people a
longest
chance.
episodes. The title of
Yeah.
it was what again?
The Prisoner.
The prison.
Prisoner. Yeah.
La
Prisoner.
La prison.
Yeah.
I can't-
No spoilers,
Prison.
but
No spoilers, yeah.
you guys liked it? You
Yeah.
guys did enjoy it?
Oh, yeah, that was
Yeah.
a great one.
I have thoughts,
It was
Yeah.
fun.
but
Me too.
but
wow.
but no, it was good. I liked it a
Yeah.
lot.
Okay.
Rick Famuyiwa.
Rick Famuyiwa directed
directed
it.
again,
Yep.
and you can tell now that we're seeing kind of the second go
Yeah.
of directors.
Yeah.
You can kind of tell who's doing what and what their strengths are
Yeah.
and somewhat weaknesses and some.
Yes, weakness.
It's starting to
Potentially.
it's starting to be more noticeable between
Yeah.
episodes.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I like
For sure.
this one
And
a lot.
yeah, this was really well crafted.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was
from
really
start to finish.
Yeah,
really suspenseful.
in a lot of ways.
And yeah.
All right, don't get too much into
Yeah.
Okay, we don't want to get
Spoilers.
too
I mean,
crazy on
Suspense.
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 Suspensors.
Suspensors.
Suspensors. Okay,
it's Friday.
So before we get into spoilers, because maybe you haven't seen it out there, maybe you haven't watched the episode yet, let's just talk real quick about the new movie coming out next week, because nobody has any spoilers on that one.
Right.
Well,
Maybe. I don't
Oh,
know.
great, Dustin, what'd you do?
no, I mean, there's a lot of rumors.
Yeah, there's
out
a lot of
there
rumors,
that
but-
could be spoilers.
That could be, but
I don't
nobody
wanna-
knows for sure.
I won't
'cause
say
nobody.
any of those that I know. Because
I heard
I
the
know
cast
them
and
all.
crew.
No,
No,
I'm just
clearly,
joking. No.
I heard the cast saw it, and the main actors, and I don't know if the whole crew. I don't know, but at least I know the main actors saw it, and I think they finally had the final cut on it, maybe
yeah,
a
they
week
were
ago
working
or
on
so.
The final cut,
But
like
just right till the
down
end,
to
yeah.
the wire. But when you think about it, though, I mean, it is the last one in this
Yeah.
trilogy, and also remember JJ when he was working on the first one,
Yep.
was right up to the wire.
Yep.
I think he's a bit of perfectionist on certain things, how he wants it. But
Yeah, I
Yeah.
agree.
I can understand that. When we worked on our films, it's,
And I'm sure he wanted to get people's feedback. You
Oh,
know,
yeah.
he wants to see,
It's
make
huge.
sure all the people that he cares about see the film before he locks it.
Yeah.
no,
and-
I don't know. He probably, yeah,
no,
it depends.
but I mean
yeah.
parts of it. Like, what do you think about?
You don't
people
mean the
that-
cast. You mean like
No, I
you
mean
like
people that
yeah.
his influencers or whatever. Maybe
Yeah.
wants George to approve it. I don't know if that'll happen.
I have no idea.
we don't know. Yeah.
I don't know. We should go into that.
Uh,
It reminds me of those deep fakes. Have you seen
Right?
those
Yeah.
deep fakes? of
Yes,
George
I've been enjoying those
Oh
a
my
lot.
gosh.
so funny.
Yeah.
They're terrible.
Salty
Oh.
George
But
Lucas, yeah.
Yeah.
They're terrible, but they're hilarious.
Yeah, they
Oh my
are.
goodness. Anyway,
Terribly hilarious.
yeah, but Rise of Skywalker
Yeah.
coming out next week.
Yeah.
Yep. Next.
Less than a week.
next
Well,
Thursday, I think.
technically, opening day is Friday, but we all know it comes out on Thursday.
Yeah, I
right.
think the premiere episode or the premiere like red carpet is Tuesday
Monday.
or Monday.
I think it's actually
Oh,
Monday.
wow.
I think.
So
or
they're going to
Tuesday.
probably do a live stream of that. I think
Yeah,
they usually do.
they usually
So
do.
that'll be interesting.
Yeah.
People were
Yeah.
Not of the movie, but of the
Right. Of
Red
the,
of
carpet.
the red carpet.
carpet.
Yeah, up to the when they go watch it.
Yeah.
But I know that some people were concerned, like, well, should we not watch the red carpet stream? Because in The Last Jedi, all of a sudden, the guy who plays Yoda,
Oh,
Frank
yeah.
Oz, showed up on the
Frank
red
Oz
carpet.
showed up on the
and
red
everybody's
carpet.
like, why is Frank Oz
Yeah.
at this movie?
Right.
Like,
That's
Yeah.
true. It could
he
be.
wouldn't be in it unless he was Yoda.
That's why you just gotta have everybody that was ever in Star Wars.
And I
show
think
up
it's
for
gonna
premiere.
be-
so that
I-
nobody knows.
And I honestly think it will. It'll be like Endgame, where they're just like,
Everybody,
why are
yeah.
all these, and then they all were in the movie.
Yeah,
Right.
but that was a little
Right.
specific because they didn't have like everybody for The Last Jedi in a lot of
Yeah.
ways. I mean, as far as I know, Frank Oz did kind of stand out a little bit. So it was a little bit of a spoiler. Not that people didn't assume
Yeah.
he wasn't going to be in it. I mean, Yoda can show up technically in any, but it was the first one that he showed up in
Yeah.
as a Force Ghost. No, he was in Force Ghost in Return of the Jedi. So,
Yeah.
but
he didn't
anyway,
talk,
but since
so.
then, it's been a long time since then.
Right.
So it's interesting that he
Yeah.
showed back up.
Quite interesting, yeah, actually. So
Yes. Dagobah!
there's a lot of a lot of speculation there. So
We gotta
I'm
work on our impersonations.
do it.
Yes. Yeah, I always try to do Obi-Wan, but
Yeah.
like a goofy version.
Hello
of it.
there.
But I always try to do like the old man Obi-Wan, where he's like, "These are not the I can't never do it.
the George you're looking for.
You gotta like really make it sound goofy.
Right?
I can't do it though.
You may go about your business.
You may go about. You may go about your business.
Move along.
You like make him sound sleepy almost. It's
Right.
funnier.
Move
Move along. Move along. I don't know. Anyway, moving on.
Rise of Skywalker is gonna be. It's gonna be a lot of fun, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah, I
Yeah,
think, it's,
I think
I'm
so.
pretty pumped for it. I'm sure a lot of you guys out there are. They're really ramping up on the promotion, marketing, all that good stuff.
All the hype.
All the hype.
It's
money
gonna
can
be
buy.
good either way. It could be a train
Yeah.
wreck, or it could be fantastic.
Yeah.
Right.
Or it could be
I'm
mediocre.
hoping it's not
Yeah.
a fantastic train wreck.
But it's gonna be Star Wars. It's gonna be Star Wars.
yeah.
So
Yeah. It's definitely film, high production,
Yeah.
Star Wars. I'm sure there will be moments that will, our jaws will hit the floor.
Right.
And
at
then-
least, yeah, certain moments, of course.
oh, I'm sure,
It's
yeah,
Star Wars. I mean,
Hopefully it's
Yeah.
not like predictable.
yeah.
Like, oh, this person's gonna show. I told you.
yeah, I have no
Mm,
idea.
yeah.
I mean,
I
I've
don't know
heard
where they're
a
gonna
bunch
go
of
with it.
rumors, and I've heard multiple.
Do you have any
rumors on how it
Yeah,
ends. and how this
speculation
and
that's
that.
not spoiler heavy. Any things that are thoughts or any predictions, maybe light predictions?
Light prediction.
Okay, like do you think here's an easy one. Do you think John Boyega will fight with a lightsaber again?
I hope so.
Yeah.
I thought
That'd
that
be
was a
nice.
missed opportunity in the
Because I was just watching
yeah.
Force Awakens again, and he had a lot of
good
good
moment.
moments in
Yeah.
that
Yeah.
film.
He was
really-
he was way cooler in the Force Awakens.
Yeah.
And I really wanted to see him develop into like a cooler character.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And what if he was a Jedi? Because it almost
Right.
made sense in some ways that he was Force sensitive because of in the Force Awakens, whenever he out of everybody else stood out
Yep.
in
Right.
the stormtrooper. Why him? Why did it
Yeah.
affect him? Why did he feel things? Why did
Yeah.
so it almost felt like plus then he was wielding a lightsaber. It was almost like they were giving you a little bit of that, but I don't know.
Yeah.
Maybe they'll pick that back up in this one.
Yeah,
Maybe.
I have a feeling they will.
That'd be
And
exciting.
They show a lot of them already in the promotions of the three of them together,
Yeah.
which had never happened.
Yeah, I mean, it was smart. They definitely wanted that to be the case in this one. That was a big
Mhm.
point that they wanted to make because they were trying to go back to a little bit of the original feel of
Mhm.
the three of
Right.
Luke, Leia, and
Yeah,
Han,
that's true. Mhm.
Yeah.
and Lando's going to be in this one. I'm excited to see Lando.
Yeah.
I'm excited to see Lando
Lando.
again.
So,
Billy
what-
D.
a simple question: do you think Lando will make it through the end of the movie? Do you think he
Ooh.
will survive?
boy.
Well, I've
It's
heard
a little
multiple
heavy.
rumors on that.
Okay,
as
so maybe.
well,
Okay.
but if they kill off Lando in this one, I'm just
Right.
like, so the sequel or this trilogy was basically about killing off all of the main characters
Yeah. Exactly.
in a not gratifying
Yeah,
way.
right.
Yeah. So hopefully, yeah, they don't.
I
do
don't
that.
know.
But I mean,
That's
it's,
just my personal opinion. I don't think they needed to do that in these films, but
Yeah.
that's
Well,
just
and
personal
honestly,
opinion.
but it's like the end of the series. There's no real reason to kill him off.
I know. I mean,
Yeah.
I don't know. There's no real. It didn't.
That would just
the
anger
problem with
everybody.
a lot of the problem for me with killing off even Han Solo, it didn't move the story along in any way.
No.
Killing off
because,
Luke
the next
Didn't
movie just
didn't move the story along in any way.
Yeah.
Now Carrie Fisher's gone,
Right.
and they're keeping her alive. Which I don't. Are they going to end her in this film? I don't know.
Right,
It seems
yeah.
somewhat
I don't know how
insensitive
it's-
in some ways, but at the same
Right.
time, I don't know if it's a good send off.
Right.
And then Lando, if they kill Lando, then it's
Right.
just
It's like the original trilogy just
okay.
never
I
happened.
just want to kill everybody.
Right.
right.
We're just on a killing spree, everybody.
Yeah. Like, what's the point of this? It's
Welcome to the
these
dark
movies
Star Wars universe.
are to watch all your heroes growing up die.
Die horrible deaths.
Here's reality, kids.
Yeah. Right.
No, I'm
There's
just
no
joking.
happy endings.
No. Other than that, though, I mean, they're trying to introduce the newer characters and get
Right.
you attached to the new characters, which I can understand.
Yeah,
You
but
know,
if they, it's the end of it though.
yeah, I don't know. I
So
don't.
it's
See,
like,
that's the
why would
biggest
they
thing
get you
for me.
attached?
How are they going to wrap up?
Because
Oh,
now
this
they
whole thing.
officially they've been moving forward in the story with the new characters, and they've been marketing now. All of a sudden, Palpatine is back,
Yeah.
the Emperor.
Yeah,
So you're
Yeah.
like, okay, well now we're literally bringing back the original villain of the first 6 movies. Here we are.
Yeah.
So
Which-
that means that everything is on the table from all the other movies. You know,
Yeah,
in that
'cause-
sense.
in some ways, if you bring back Palpatine, you kind of need to bring back Anakin. Otherwise, you're really kind of discrediting
Right.
what Anakin did, Darth
Yeah.
Vader did in
Right.
Episode 6.
Right.
That whole
Exactly.
arc has now been kind of destroyed in some ways. Not
Yep.
destroyed, but it's just like I don't know. It depends on how they play it, though. They could play it tastefully, and it could work out fine. But
Do you
just
think
because he's back, it seems like okay. So Darth Vader didn't he sacrifice himself for nothing in a way, or
Right.
Yeah.
I don't know. But they could
He
do
said-
it well.
He said that line, "I will finish what you started,"
True.
about Vader.
Yeah.
Oh,
They
That
could
is true.
they could turn that to be Palpatine
yeah.
finishing off the Emperor once and for all, because maybe somehow Kylo knew through Snoke
New.
that he was out there floating around or
Right.
And he-
clones.
and they're
or,
gonna,
Space
so they
Ghost.
might play the double agent the whole time.
Right.
right.
Kylo Ren's
right.
actually
And
been.
then that leads to my other question: do you think he will be redeemed? Do you think he will
Oh
be?
yeah, they're gonna.
yeah.
good
They're
at
gonna
the
redeem.
end?
I think they're gonna
Yeah.
redeem him and then kill him immediately.
Yeah.
Okay.
I
He's gonna
honestly
die,
think
like,
that's-
because
right as
he
he's
did some
redeemed.
bad things in Force
Yeah.
Awakens.
Yeah.
Well, and that was the weird thing, and that's the other thing that it really doesn't feel like there was a set beginning, middle, and end to this trilogy.
Yeah.
Because why did they make certain choices if they were gonna do that in the end? You know what I mean? If they're gonna redeem him, don't have him kill Han Solo. That makes him irredeemable in so many people's eyes.
It's
Even
true.
to me, I'm like, yeah, kill him off.
Yeah,
It's true, yeah.
Although I do find that Kylo is the most interesting character out of all of the new ones.
Yeah.
Other than I do like John Boyega's character though, Finn. I did find him, but there just wasn't enough in the last movie for me to really attach on to him. In the last movie, he
Yeah.
kind of did nothing.
He was kind of just a runner and a goofball.
like-
They literally
That was
did
like a side plot of a side plot.
That side plot
Yeah.
absolutely led. Well, I mean, because they didn't end up helping. I think if they would have ended up helping
in the
Right.
final battle.
in the final one,
well,
I mean,
yeah,
they
yeah.
kind of did, but
Well, he was driving off to his doom as he was
Yeah.
driving right into that beam.
I actually
Yeah.
I was okay with that in
Yeah,
some
me
ways.
too.
If he had
I was
gone-
like, are they going to do that?
Yeah.
If
I
he
mean, that
had
would have been a
sacrificed
bold movie
himself.
choice or bold choice, but I didn't want to see Finn go though because I actually like Finn, and I was hoping that there would be more for Finn. I think
Yeah.
Finn, out of all of the new characters, other than Kylo, was one of my favorites. He felt the most relatable to me as
Yeah.
far as like how you would respond in this galaxy in a lot of ways.
Right.
Like,
Right.
And
yeah.
his humor, especially in The Force Awakens, just worked.
yeah,
Like he felt like he's like, stay calm, stay calm.
Yeah.
He's like, I am. He's like, I'm talking to
I'm
myself.
talking to myself.
yeah, exactly.
You know, that kind of
Exactly.
stuff. And then the humor with him and Poe really worked.
It did work.
But
well.
yeah, how he just his lines, everything that he said, just you're right. It felt like
It was fun. It was funny.
Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah.
big deal. You know,
Yeah.
kind of a
Right.
big deal.
yeah,
kind of big
he
deal
kind
on
of
the
played
resistance.
The
like
way
I'm
he
a
played
resistance
everything.
pilot. Yeah,
Right,
you know.
yeah.
And
Yeah.
then she's like, well, I need to know where your base is. You know, and he's
the
like,
thumbs up,
Yeah, he's like,
yeah.
yeah, tell him or tell her I need to know. You know?
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. So
Yeah,
anyway,
so
I think
he played it.
I don't know. I'm trying to keep my expectations as low as possible for Rise of
Yeah.
Skywalker so that I'm pleasantly surprised whenever we get there. I just hope
Right.
they make good choices and then they finish it up tastefully and that it really works. Otherwise, I don't know. For me, I don't know. I'll be annoyed.
Right, yeah. It'll leave a bad taste in your mouth.
But it's still Star Wars.
Right.
They can make a few bad movies. Not
Yeah.
that they've been bad. Not that they've been bad, but I just mean like ones that I don't love quite as much. I still like them. It's still Star Wars.
Yeah.
That's the thing. You're still
Yeah.
getting Star Wars, you know.
Even the prequels, there's stuff in the prequels
Oh, yeah.
story wise
They're not perfect.
that you find very interesting. We were talking about our favorite prequel film, and there were moments
Last
because
week, yeah.
yeah,
What was
last
yours
week.
again? Yours was
I liked Phantom Menace because
Yeah.
of Maul, and
Mhm.
and I like what they did in the Clone Wars with Maul, bringing him back, and then they brought him back in Solo. But no, I
Yeah.
mean
yeah.
that added for me to that original Phantom Menace because he was just
Yeah.
in and out, in one movie, but then
Mhm.
he survived, so it makes it even cooler to me. Phantom Menace.
yeah,
Right.
yeah.
So-
What and yours was
Revenge of the
Revenge
Sith.
of the Sith,
Yeah.
which and
Yeah.
then I was like, I agree that Revenge of the Sith is the best of the prequel movies
Yeah.
as far as the story. Lots of different things.
Yeah.
But I still have an emotional attachment, I think, to the Phantom Menace just because it hit me at the perfect age.
Phantom Menace. Yeah,
Grew up
hit
Yeah,
you.
and I just loved it so
Yep.
much. That fight. I mean, really, even if you just took out the whole rest of the movie and you just had the ending fight sequence.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That'd be enough
oh
for
yeah.
me.
Right. Be like,
The lightsaber.
Yeah, and
That-
the music too.
Yeah.
So good.
The dueling and the behind the
Duel of
scenes
the
stuff.
Fates.
Yeah, the duel of the fates and the dueling of Qui-Gon and that duel
Yeah.
with Darth Maul, the double-sided lightsaber, double-bladed.
yeah.
Inspired
well
a lot of our
done.
fan film stuff.
Yeah.
Watching the behind the scenes of how they did that.
And that whole fight scene with Darth Maul and them, it really revitalized even like Jedi fighting, like lightsaber fighting. Because in the original movies, it was a little bit more slow paced because they wanted it to be a little more realistic with like kendo. This just like actual sword fighting, like what you would do more so.
Right.
Whereas the episode 1 was a little bit more high frills. It was a little bit more showy in a lot of ways.
Yeah.
And that kind of fit with the times too, because
Yeah.
it was whenever the Jedi were way more prominent.
Yeah.
So they were
Mm.
a lot more practiced. They would do more frilly things,
Right.
kind of things. Whereas in Empire and even the first one, Star Wars and Return of the Jedi, it was a little bit more less frills and more just kind of.
Yep.
Yeah.
But it was a little. But that was also playing off of Darth Vader's fighting style.
Yeah.
He was
Yeah.
a little bit more just to the point, take
Yep.
him out. But anyway,
Yeah.
Yeah.
I agree. Well, do you
Wow.
guys want to hop into some spoilers from this episode?
sure,
Yeah.
let's do it, man.
Sure
Let's do it.
thing.
All right, we gotta warn everybody, right?
So I don't have a spoilers
Spoilers.
banner, but There we go. Okay, well, it
Yeah.
wasn't chapter 4, but sorry.
It's a little old, but
We're out of date on that, but that's okay.
Yeah.
But yeah, here we go. Spoiler talk. So if you haven't seen the episode yet,
Yep.
go check it
Give
out.
you a warning
Yeah.
now.
And
yeah.
or if you don't really care if it's spoiled because you're gonna watch it and enjoy it anyway, that's cool. Hang out with us.
Yeah.
So
We like
be
having you
talking.
with us.
we like having you with
Even
us.
though
Yeah.
we can't see you, you can see
I
us.
can.
Oh, hey, how's it going?
No, that would be creepy.
That was
Eyes
really
come through the
creepy.
screen.
All
so,
right, yeah.
So chapter 7, we'll do a
Chapter
little
6.
bit less of a
Chapter 6.
chapter 6, a little bit less of a play-by-play, maybe a little more of a broad perspective
Broad perspective.
on chapter 6's episode. So we talked about it being directed by Rick Famuyiwa, who directed
Yep.
episode 2, chapter 2, which I loved. I mean,
Yeah.
I loved the first episode, but when it stepped up, I could instantly tell the difference in the fight early on in that one.
Mhm.
The way he did the angles and the shots, and
Right.
was really impressed.
Yeah, scene selection or shot selection is different.
yeah, it's hard to quantify without being like a
Yeah.
film expert, but
Right.
the framing, like what he showed you, like when he was in that hangar bay of this one, and he
Mhm.
was in focus, but everything else was blurry.
Yeah.
It's because he just wanted to see. He wanted you to look at the Mandalorian walking through
Yeah.
the hangar, but not focus on anything but the It was just a unique.
And then he turned it, and then he
Yeah,
slowly
then he would
brought
come into focus as
Yeah.
they were
Focus.
just coming through, but they weren't that important, so he
No.
didn't really. It was
Right.
just interesting. Some directing choices
yeah,
and
yeah, I
Yeah.
agree.
It's like-
cinematography.
Oh,
He
there's
also used-
somebody there, but they're not that important, so don't pay attention to them.
Yeah,
It
That's
was
just background noise.
it was a clear directional choice.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
we're seeing that, I think, so much more. And he uses the full frame a lot of the time. Like,
Yeah.
he'll have something interesting going on in one side and then highlight in another side, or he'll be looking through something
Yeah.
to what's going on in the scene. He does a lot of the blow a hole in something and then look
Oh, yeah.
through that to show them walking or certain framing styles and the pace. So he keeps even what you're looking at
yeah,
interesting. So
Yes.
it's not just a direct on somebody. I mean, there's scenes like that,
Yeah.
but he keeps it moving. I even noticed sometimes it was a little shaky.
mm-hmm.
Like he even had a little bit. It was a little less clean in certain aspects.
Right.
Yeah, like it wasn't
But
on a dolly. It was
Yeah,
like
it wasn't
handheld.
It was
100%
like
steady.
handheld. It was like
Yeah.
somebody was.
right.
Yeah, which I liked. I really like his directing style.
Yeah.
Because he did the second one, right?
Yeah, he did the second
The
one.
second one. What was the name of that one? That was
the child.
The Child. Yeah.
So that's when you
Child.
first,
Great fight scene
Have
in
a-
that.
you get a taste of what Baby Yoda could do
And
at the end of that one when he
Yep.
uses the Force. But
Lifts up the
and
mud
like
that's when he sees the Jawas take apart a
Yeah.
ship,
Yep.
and when he disintegrates. Yeah.
that was crazy.
But the fight scene
Yeah,
with the
awesome.
Trandoshans early on, when he saves the baby, he's like, "Hey, why are they coming after baby too?"
Yeah.
But how he used everything, like you were talking about, in
Yeah.
that, was how like the shadows up above.
Yes.
Then it was like the reflections off his helmet,
Yep.
and it was like everything he used in that frame to keep it interesting and to move things along
Yeah.
and really hype up the suspense. I think what we found out is that
Yeah.
he likes suspense.
He really
Yeah.
does.
He's good at it too.
The whole
He is
episode
good
You
at
were
it.
talking
kind
about
of plays out like a Saw movie.
well, maybe not Saw.
Not as gruesome, but like he makes them, he like splits them up. I mean, it's not.
Are we
really
talking
like Saw.
spoilers right now?
I mean, yeah.
Right.
We're
Oh,
talking
yeah. Oh,
is
yeah,
this
sorry.
spoiler talk.
Oh, I thought you said. Oh yeah.
I don't
go
know.
ahead.
I mean,
Go,
it's
go,
just
go.
he just said a broad, covering spectrum, rainbows.
It's a complete double.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think we're in
But-
spoiler territory.
Yeah,
but
Okay.
yeah.
Sorry.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, he just like splits them up. I don't know. Maybe it's not like Saw. Maybe it's something else. But
I mean, I
he's-
see what you're saying. Yeah, it's
yeah,
suspenseful.
yeah. It's kind of got a. Oh, what episode was it? A callback to the. Oh goodness, what episode was that? Where the lead Mandalorian was talking about the way of the Mandalorian, and you were both hunter and prey.
Oh, kind of. Well,
Yeah.
was that the second? Was that the second episode?
Or was that the third
Um,
episode?
Might have been the third. I think that was the
The
third.
third episode. Yeah.
Something like that.
Yep.
But
Yeah, third.
that's like a direct correlation to this episode
Yeah,
because
he was.
he
You're
yeah,
right. He was both hunter and
hunter
prey.
and prey.
Yeah,
yeah.
that makes sense.
All right, yeah, I just thought it was great.
Yeah, I liked his choices.
Right.
His choices in this
Yeah.
were excellent.
Yeah.
Framing, story,
Yep.
the way it was executed, the locations.
Yep.
Yeah.
That set was amazing.
The hangar bay was awesome. It was cool to see that.
Yeah, it
in the
felt-
Star Wars universe.
Everything in this one
Yeah.
compared to the last one,
Yeah.
this one felt original. It felt so Star Wars still again, just because it was they had the hangar. I always think whenever you include alien species, it makes it feel more Star
Yeah.
Wars. They had their own unique abilities and things about what they are as a species.
Yep.
That made them unique. They're still humans, but not overly
not all
human.
humans.
Yeah.
Which
yeah.
I think really helps because the last two were mostly humans.
Mhm.
And those were the ones that for us I felt like dipped a little bit.
Yeah.
And they just felt honestly to me they felt a little bit more fan film. And I don't mean that in a bad way, but they didn't
It
feel
felt
like
more
$10 million
yeah.
quality.
It felt more
Yeah.
TV
An
show,
episode.
more light fan film.
They weren't bad. I mean, they're
Yeah.
still great. I still like it, but it's just funny how different every episode is. The first three felt like such an arc almost on their own in some ways that
Yeah.
now after that it's really been like this is one episode.
Yeah, it felt more
This
TV
is one
show.
episode.
Like it definitely felt more TV show. Like here's the problem for this episode. They'll wrap it up by the end.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it didn't tie as much, in my opinion. Either of those two tied 4 and 5 as much to the overall arc. I think 4 actually did have more as far as
Moving the
into the
whole-
Mandalorian.
yeah,
Like
I
what
agree.
what is going on in his world. They gave you those few, even if it was just a few shots, like a minute or two, about taking off his helmet, about
That's when you learned about
possibly
more
his
about
motivation on staying there, leaving the baby there,
that. Mhm.
just relaxing,
Yeah.
piecing it out there.
Retirement.
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 So, and then I feel like
I
5,
love the young people.
I don't want to be a burden.
like, I like 5 because of, as a standalone episode, I thought it was really good. I thought it was better than 4 in most ways. But I agree that in the overall storyline arc, people were complaining that it was just too useless. It was a filler.
Yeah.
And the only reason I would argue against that is because this is Filoni who's producing it with Favreau. And so while people have thought other things that Filoni has done have been filler episodes, they find a way to tie all those little pieces together later on and bring one little you can't say that until you see the whole
Right, the big picture.
Exactly.
the whole thing.
Yeah.
But as
True.
a standalone, you're like, oh, it's just so filler, and I feel like everybody jumps on filler bandwagon, and I'm like, well, you got to give it we got to give the, what am I trying to say,
Give it time
the
to breathe.
season. You need to see the whole season.
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
feel like
Yeah.
then we can judge, was that truly a filler, and maybe at the end we'll be like, yeah, it was just a filler.
It
Yeah.
could be, but
But
you're right.
or maybe
It's
there's something
classic
that,
Filoni.
because that could have been the Boba Fett, that could have been Boba at the end.
Right.
And in
Could
the
have been.
broad perspective, if he shows up somewhere else down the road, that's going to be nuts.
That would
Right.
be, that
You
will
know,
be nuts.
Although it'll still be nuts. You won't be like, oh, that was Boba Fett, because
Right.
he didn't do anything at the end of episode 5, chapter
Yeah.
5. He just clinked up with his
You just
spurs.
clink, clink.
yeah,
yeah.
which is weird. So I heard some people
Unless
saying
Fennec
that.
Shand is not a goner. Maybe
Yeah.
she's still alive. And if
Maybe.
she comes
Well.
back with Boba all of a sudden,
Boba.
you know,
The only thing about
then I don't know. I'm
Right.
speculating way out.
yeah.
Right, yeah.
The only thing is that every episode's had like almost every episode's had somebody that's been there
Yeah.
and then gone.
Yeah.
So every episode has somebody that's been there and been gone, which I'm like, are they literally going to bring everybody that he's met along the
Right.
whole way to be back in like the end?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Plus the other thing that I'm still kind of like, what's the overall plot of this
Yeah.
show? Just protecting Baby Yoda, but it's not anymore because
Yeah.
Baby Yoda, he still is in every episode, but there are so many unique things per episode now.
Right.
Over
Mhm.
instead of the first 3, which were really like get the bounty, he's got the bounty, turn it in, and then save the bounty, and then now
Yeah.
that's progressing from there. But it really hasn't gone up. We haven't learned
right. We
a
haven't.
lot more. I mean, we've talked about how the Mandalorian culture and how he with the helmet, and we've learned that Baby Yoda can use the Force, but we learned that in episode 2. So
Yeah.
Right.
it hasn't moved along Baby Yoda's story in any way. So it's just interesting. I don't know where exactly they're going, but yeah, Dave Filoni is classic with making it seem like it's just a filler episode,
Yeah.
but and a small part of that filler episode
Yeah.
could totally come back in the end, and then
Yep.
you're like, oh, that all makes sense. So it could totally do that. You're right.
Yeah.
I agree.
Literally, the ending could come back in the end.
Oh.
Just blew my own mind.
Whoa. Yeah, it's hard to say until you see the whole season. And we know they're doing a season 2.
Yeah.
So, if this was like a short run of 8 only episodes and that was it, then that point you're like, okay, well there really wasn't a whole lot of story
Yeah.
based on what they've given us in the first 6 because there's only 2 left.
Yep.
So you're like, but you know that they're going to go
Yeah, 'cause
7
it's-
and 8.
Yeah, you're right.
7 and 8.
Wow.
because they're going to do a second season. So, they could build on the second season, and really dig in more to all the other characters and putting them together as a real unit,
Yeah.
Because I feel like the same thing about the Clone Wars season 1, the same thing about Rebels season 1. There was a lot of interesting moments in like the first and the last episodes and maybe like the mid-season finale.
Yeah, I agree.
Or mid-season,
But there was a lot of felt
But it
like
felt
filler,
like-
but it was a lot of individual stuff.
Right, because you're getting to know the characters, the different
Mhm.
ones, and
Yep.
then season 2, and I don't remember how many seasons of Rebels were, 4 maybe.
Rebels is 4.
Yeah,
And
Clone
then
Wars was like
Clone Wars
6.
is 6, but then they're going to be releasing the 7th
Final.
Yep.
this
About
next
time.
year.
Yeah, I know. That's just gonna be awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We'll
It's
have
gonna
that.
be great.
to
But
review.
it does seem like Dave Filoni almost takes a
it's
season.
like a slow burn.
He almost takes a season to get into things,
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
which has happened with Clone Wars. You're right. It wasn't right off the bat blow your mind. It wasn't until like second season, third
Right.
season, whenever
Yeah.
you were like, oh my gosh, this is blowing my mind
And
now.
I mean,
And even with Rebels, it was a little slow start with Rebels. And then end of season 2 was like, I think that was whenever he was, well, I don't want to spoilers
Yeah.
for Rebels, but then they get into some really big canon fights, like
mhm.
with big time players,
Yeah.
and it's crazy.
Right.
So I thought that was impressive. So it could work its way up to that.
Yeah.
I think the weird thing about this, not weird, but unique thing about this is that this is in a time era where we don't know much about things.
Right.
We don't have any other shows.
No, we have nothing to base it on.
I mean, the only thing is that we do have the sequel trilogy now,
Right,
the Disney
yeah.
trilogy that's
but that's like,
30 years later,
yeah.
which I guess is about 25 from this point.
Yeah.
But still, that's why it's kind of like you can
Uncharted
really
territory.
yeah, Uncharted. So I don't know who we could really bring in that's not a new character that's going to be
Right.
that big other than Boba. Otherwise, you're going to have to introduce, or you could go Luke. I guess you could go Luke, Leia, or
Right. Yeah. How would
or
they do
Han.
a younger Luke though?
I don't.
Would they
Well,
do
there's that
like
one
a-
guy that we were talking about that could play a young Luke.
What guy?
Bucky from
Bucky Barnes.
no, Bucky from the guy who played Bucky. What's his name? I forget.
Yeah.
Fact checker.
Check some
Um,
facts.
Oh, you're talking about
Yeah,
Sebastian Stan?
Sebastian
Sebastian
Stan.
Stan.
Yeah, because somebody did like a face comparison of like Luke of Mark Hamill younger
Yeah.
as Luke and Sebastian Stan. Their
Yeah.
faces like practically matched up perfectly.
Yeah.
Are they
It's
gonna,
yeah,
crazy.
I
are
think
they gonna do a
it.
deep fake with that?
They
Right.
could almost,
Ooh.
or just put him in the outfit and give him the same haircut, and he'd be
Right.
about the same.
Give him some.
That's
I don't
true.
know. That'd be
Yeah.
interesting. I think that'd be
That
interesting. Or
would
they
be.
could do a de-aging thing like they've been doing with a lot of
Right.
with Luke.
Yeah.
we could
But
just have
yeah.
Him would be pretty tough. They would
Yeah,
have to de-age him
It
a
would
lot
be.
because this is only
And
5
usually-
years after.
Yeah. Usually when they do that, you can tell. You're like,
Oh yeah, you can. Still
it's
tell, but-
uncanny valley. You're like,
Oh, yeah.
this looks okay, but something's not right.
I think the only one that kind of worked. Well, there's 2. There was, what's his name from Guardians of the Galaxy 2?
Kurt
Russell.
Yeah.
But a lot of that was his makeup. They said, but he looked way younger.
Yeah.
And then Samuel Jackson.
Yeah.
in-
Oh yeah, that one was good.
That was one of the
That
best
was-
ones I've seen.
that was
Those
amazing.
2
'Cause,
for
like,
Sam, yeah.
yeah
in,
Samuel
I didn't-
Jackson for the de-aging.
Yep,
yeah.
yep.
I didn't even
How,
think of it. And then like
A lot of
Captain
that was
Marvel?
just they
I
gave him a
saw-
hairline.
I saw
Yeah,
a side
that's
by
true.
side, and I was like, wow.
Yeah, I know it's crazy.
He
I
looks
think,
a
I
lot
think that was
younger.
really they did a really good job of doing practical makeup
Yeah,
to hide like
Yeah.
wrinkles and make him look a
Mhm.
little younger, plus the de-aging.
yeah,
Yeah.
and that
So-
would fit a lot more seamlessly.
Yeah.
and the hairline, like I said, really kind of
Yeah.
makes him look a lot.
Did you
younger.
guys haven't seen The Irishman yet?
No, I haven't seen it yet.
Okay, but they did
They
some
do a lot of
de-aging
de-aging
in
in that one, yeah.
a lot of it. And it's the same thing about Samuel L. Jackson in that one. You could tell the scenes that it was like him doing the action. You're like, for a minute there, I could tell it was an older guy trying to like move quickly.
Yeah.
And like start to run, and then all of a sudden it cuts to this dude that's like sprinting. You're like, wow, Sam Jackson can run.
Yeah.
You really got there.
I really felt that a lot in The Irishman, but they did a lot. They still did good. Joe Pesci is back. I mean, he's like 85 or something, and he was like retired from acting. And so I don't want to go on this forever, but he was
all things.
Yeah, all things.
All things.
This is the all things
But
part.
it ties in because it's really trying to push forward. This is Martin Scorsese, like one of the greatest filmmakers of all time, arguably.
Yeah.
You know, big time. And anyway, but he used it, and I thought it did really good. I mean, they de-aged him, but it wasn't like they were trying to make him look like he was 12.
Yeah.
They were making an 85-year-old look like he was 65. So they didn't have to do as much work. They did with Robert De Niro. They did make him try to look like he was maybe 50s, because I think he's in his 70s. So only taking like 20 years off, whereas Sam Jackson was, it's hard to say how much they were taking off in Captain Marvel.
I think maybe like 20 years.
Yeah, okay.
something like
So
that.
that's kind of the threshold, yeah.
Right? Or
Yeah,
maybe
It was in the
15,
90s.
15 years, I guess. 15 to 20
Yeah.
years, I think.
But you're right. I think the less they have to do, the more accurate it can be.
Yeah.
You know, when it's just changed a little bit of this, change a little bit of that. It's crazy to think what they can do, and
Right.
you know, eventually what are they going to bring back? I mean, I don't know what they could do eventually.
They could
you
do
know?
so much. I mean, they're
Yeah.
getting to the point where they almost don't need. I mean, they still need actors, but they're gonna basically just make people, you know, their likeness, and then get a voice actor to do it. I mean, at this point, they almost could with a lot
Yeah,
of their
that's true.
technology.
Aren't
I know they're
they-
working that way because they're
Yeah.
trying to get.
Wasn't there one that they're already
Oh
trying
yeah,
to do?
what
was his name?
Yeah, you were talking about that, Dan. It was
What's that?
Who they casted somebody, but he's not even alive anymore.
Wasn't Jimmy Stewart, but
No.
it was
Fact checker.
yeah, I can't think of his name now,
Yeah.
but it was fresh on my mind the last time we talked about it. But
He was a cool guy. He always wore a jacket.
Yeah,
Drove a car.
yeah,
Fast car.
yeah, fast car. It was somebody
What's his name?
in a movie that he's not around anymore, but there was some controversy about it.
Yeah.
yeah,
But they were he was
James
gonna.
Dean.
Oh, is that
James-
who it was?
Is it James Dean?
yeah, I think you're right.
Yeah.
Yep,
James
yep, I think
Dean,
you're right.
I
okay.
think that's
Yep.
who it is.
Good call.
Yeah. So anyway,
Yeah.
good job
Yeah.
pulling that.
Just.
What'd you guys think of Rogue One in the with Tarkin?
Oh
Tarkin?
yeah, that was. There was definitely moments where you were like,
Yep.
"Ooh, that's
You're
a
like,
bit
oh,
rubbery."
his face
Yeah,
is like.
It
yeah.
felt like.
At first, I feel like it really was like, what is this actually him?
Right.
You know?
It did, yeah. They did really well. I think
Yeah.
that was definitely one of the times where you were like, they're almost there.
Yeah.
It was like they are almost there.
Yeah.
And it's you know, again, when you have to get up close,
It's
'cause then
tough.
there's
Yeah.
not as much. You can't hide it as well.
Right.
No.
You know, when they're
Not as much detail.
farther across the room, like over the shoulder of somebody or whatever, you can hide it a little better. And
Yep.
but you're right,
Yeah.
when they're talking and
And then it's the creases
Yeah.
and stuff like that. They
Yeah.
say that your face naturally makes that is so
wrinkles and
hard
whatever.
to recreate those and stuff like that to make
Yeah.
it feel
Yeah.
realistic.
We need to zoom in on that, Nick.
Like this, guys.
The noises is what make that.
Yeah, but I mean, have you ever seen
did
how
you-
they actually did that?
Yeah, I've seen some
Like
behind the
they-
scenes stuff.
yeah,
It's
they, like,
crazy.
Look at old footage of him,
Yeah,
Wow.
and
and
they
then
tried
they
to
like
mirror
try to
it.
digitally recreate his face.
Wow.
It's crazy.
Yeah,
And then they did
it's-
cast a guy that
Yeah.
looked quite a bit like him.
Yeah, and then they just project his
Yeah.
face on his face.
That was like
Face
the
on his
first
face.
deep fake. I mean, really,
Yep.
that technology is kind
Yeah.
of what inspired deep fake. Which deep fake now? I mean, just deep fake
Yeah.
Right.
is really impressive.
Oh
It
yeah.
is.
Yeah.
Because that almost looks more so like real. There's
Yeah.
moments in deep fake where it's like, okay, didn't quite match up.
It looks
Right.
it looks like, a
it
face
jumps
on top
almost.
of a face
Right, it's like
sometimes.
some points.
Yeah.
But for the most part, I
Yeah,
mean,
it's still
even with the George Lucas stuff. we
Yeah.
were like,
Oh yeah, it's
it
crazy.
looked like him at first. You're like, oh,
if the
man.
lighting is consistent and you
Yeah.
know, and it's
Right.
it can yeah.
Yeah, like
That's what makes me laugh.
it's like a computer program, and it tries to find like the exact same like
Facial expression?
facial
Yeah.
expressions.
Oh, okay.
And that's why sometimes it doesn't quite match up because it can't find one like
One
that.
like
So
that.
it's
Gotcha.
like you know.
Yeah, rubbery, and it does its own thing, and you're like,
Yeah.
"Ding."
It's like,
And it's not, and you're not sitting there manually able to
No,
do
the
that.
computer does it.
Well,
all
Yeah.
they do go
It's
back
in a
and, but they
program.
do go back and retouch up
Yeah.
stuff.
They probably can,
you know,
yeah.
they have to
Fix a couple of
but
frames or whatever,
It's
but
so hard. I mean,
yeah.
the
takes a-
detail on that is
Sure.
like I said, every little crease, every hair,
Wow.
every freckle, every pore on the
Right,
skin
yeah.
has to be like digitally created, you know,
Yeah.
for
Yeah.
a face. It's so weird. But
The
anyway,
human face is a crazy place.
but
Right.
back to the
Mandalorian.
Mandalorian.
What
Stay
were
on
we
target.
talking about?
No, speaking of the character, I really like the characters in this
Yeah.
one.
It was
Yeah,
good.
what an
They-
ensemble.
They really
Yeah.
worked,
Yeah.
and I
Yeah.
didn't feel like any of them.
We're misplaced.
No, I mean they didn't feel like they were trying too hard or
Right.
missing the mark. I mean, it's some moments the Twi'lek was a little bit much, but it still
Yeah.
worked.
She was like a
Yeah,
Harley
She
Quinn.
was kind of
Yeah,
like
it's
over the top.
like too cat-like for me in
Yeah,
certain
yeah.
ways.
Yeah.
But
Meow.
but it's still like, but it's still kind of fit for her personality because I know Twi'leks like that aren't all like that. Obviously,
Yeah.
it's because she's an assassin type
Right.
Yeah.
bounty hunter or whatever she is, mercenary. But all the cast really worked. The guy, what's his name? The guy who played the kind of the lead,
Bill Burr.
Bill Burr.
Oh, Bill Burr,
He
the
was great.
comedian. Yeah.
It
Yeah.
was
He reminded me so much of I think his name's Cypher
Cypher, yeah.
from the
Yes,
Matrix.
From the Matrix.
It was
yeah.
uncanny, really, how he
Yeah.
reminded me of
Yeah.
Cypher from the Matrix. But he delivered.
And you trusted him just about as much.
Yeah,
Yep.
exactly.
You're
Exactly.
Right
You're
off
like,
the
this
bat.
guy's
about
shady.
this guy. Yeah.
But he had some funny lines
Yep.
delivered
Yeah.
perfectly.
Right.
I mean, funny lines, but he played the straight man still
Right.
funny
Yeah.
and was able to give good, dialogue. It
Yeah.
really worked.
Like the he never takes his helmet off. You think he's a gungan?
Yeah, that was hilarious.
you said don't want to take your helmet off?
Yeah, how he did that.
That was.
Oh
That might
my
be
gosh.
the
We
best
all-
comedic
Yeah.
reference
Cracked up.
line, like being aware of what they are.
Yeah.
I think
Yeah.
the funniest thing about that is because how many people have probably made that joke already?
Right.
I know we've said
Yeah.
that. We've said
Yeah.
that one point. Like, what if under his
Yeah.
helmet he takes it off and it's
Yeah.
a Gungan? It's Jar Jar.
Right.
Oh my god.
That's what. Well, people were like, "Is he like a Yoda?" You know what I mean? Under
Right,
that. We
yeah.
said that, but
Yeah.
Yodas are short.
Yeah.
But I mean, even the line when you said right in the Beskar, and he said
Right.
that in the last episode.
Yep.
It's okay. Hit me in the Beskar.
Hit me in the best car.
Hit me in the
Right in
Beskar.
the best car bars.
Oh
He's
man,
like, I need to get some Beskar.
That's where Carl Weathers got hit.
yeah, right in the best car bar.
Pew pew.
Yeah, but
Beskar bars.
his deliveries though were great.
Yeah.
Plus they had Mr. Krabs.
Mr. Krabs.
Mr.
Uh,
Krabs.
Clancy Brown.
Clancy Brown.
Clancy
Man,
Brown.
that guy's a legend.
Yeah, he is a
Yeah.
legend.
What did
It's
he-
so funny. I wore this shirt. I
I
wasn't
know.
even thinking about it. I didn't even
You
know.
were thinking about it subconsciously.
Oh my gosh.
Not a sponsor, by the way, but
Right,
I
yeah.
did grow up watching.
We can't even tell you
SpongeBob.
the name of this
Don't fall for
cartoon.
me for that. I still
Definitely not SpongeBob and Patrick.
love it. It is, and they're laughing at you. By the
Oh
way.
yeah, they're
They
pointing
are
at me.
laughing at Nick. Oh man.
because you're so funny, Nick.
Yeah, funny looking.
That's
Oh,
like you
no.
guys
Self-right.
sitting on the couch pointing at me over here.
Right.
It's like,
Yeah,
That's
anyway,
cute.
no, but Clancy Brown played Mr. Krabs in
Yeah.
SpongeBob, and Clancy Brown was the big bruiser in this
yeah,
one,
Yeah.
he
and it
was.
worked.
Yeah, it did.
really
Yeah.
did.
Again, he brings the gravitas all on his own. It's,
Yeah.
it's so cool.
Right.
He's
to
got a
see
good
him.
voice. Yeah, and the aliens they did fit. I felt like they did fit.
Yeah,
Yeah.
And the ensemble was kind of like a Suicide Squad or
Yeah.
whatever.
Yeah.
It-
But not. They were bad guys going after
yeah.
clearly
to do a job,
to do a
a
job to
job.
bust somebody out of jail.
Yep.
Which is not a
but they were all untrustworthy.
Yeah,
Yep.
exactly.
Yeah.
Scoundrels.
But yeah, you guys like the characters though?
Yeah.
Yeah.
What was the droid's name?
Oh, Zero.
Zero.
Yeah,
I thought
like-
Zero was hilarious.
Yeah, he was.
He did a good
Oh my
job.
yeah, played it
the
well.
part where he's
Oh, yeah.
searching for the little Yoda. Oh,
That was,
That was good
so
fun.
good.
Yeah.
right.
No, and even before that, though, whenever he was talking to the Mandalorian about how he was better in
Yep.
like every way, and then
I'm
even
better
what's
and
what
smarter.
Was what was and smarter, and he's
Yeah.
like, okay, that's
Yeah,
enough.
yeah.
Yeah.
He's like-
Right.
Which is funny because he's pushing it because he doesn't like
Yeah,
droids
he
to
hates
begin
droids.
with.
Yeah. I'm surprised Amanda didn't just shoot him.
I know he
Right.
he probably wanted to. I was
Torch him.
yeah, but who was the guy in the beginning? That guy is from another show or
Oh,
something.
yeah.
Is
The
he-
big crazy hair.
yeah.
Yeah. I don't know.
I can't
Is he
remember
from
his
Sons
name.
of Anarchy or something like that?
I
I
don't
think
know.
so. Yeah.
Because he,
He
has
had
the
a unique
beard
look.
and I never saw that show, but it looked like he was like a biker dude
Yeah.
from that
Yeah.
show, but I know he's definitely been in other stuff, and he played it perfectly right off the bat.
He did.
You were just like, okay, yeah,
He
this
was
guy seems shady,
Super believable though.
but
Yeah.
believable. He delivered it well. It grounded it from the get go.
Yeah.
And a lot of other human characters in the show so far, other than like Carl Weathers and stuff like that,
mm-hmm.
I think more 4 and 5, to be honest.
Yep.
Yeah.
They didn't feel quite as
Grounded.
or it was like a little bit not cheap, kind of cheesy in certain ways.
Yeah, I think that's where the cracks start to show because you're dealing with 2 directors in 4 and 5 that are just directing for like the first time in
you're
live
right.
action. I mean, this scope.
Well, who
Bryce
did
Dallas
four-
has done
oh,
some
yeah, you're
stuff.
right,
Bryce
yeah.
Dallas Howard,
But she's
yeah.
never, directed
Yeah,
any of that. But
she
she's been
hasn't.
around it.
That's
It's,
true.
it's all that stuff. Like she knows
Yeah.
it. It's in her DNA
Yeah.
with her dad, Ron Howard. She's been around George Lucas. All the Star Wars films are there.
Mm-hmm.
But directing an actor, she is an actress. Dave Filoni's directed voice actors, but not real actors.
Mhm.
He knows what he wants to see, but he's like George Lucas was like, that was good.
Yeah,
Because
might
George
be,
Lucas
might be.
in the prequels was kind of more just do your thing,
Right.
and so they kind of do
Yeah.
their thing. So some of the actors in 5 people, and I can see that more in 4 and 5. They're just kind of didn't feel like they were in the same universe,
Yeah.
like they were kind of funny, but kind of not. To me, I thought Filoni did a little better than Howard, but all that to say that then when you get back to episode 2 and episode 6
Yep.
with a veteran director and
A
episode
live
3,
action, movie
a live
director.
action movie director,
Yep.
it's like, whoa, the level goes up another notch.
Yeah.
And so when you see
It's just
humans in
weird,
those
but-
episodes, you're like, they know
That's
they're being
believable.
told what to do by somebody, or you know what I mean, or they're just
Yeah.
expected to. That wasn't good. Do it again. However that dynamic is on set.
I think that's the difference in a lot of ways. Bryce Dallas Howard, she's an actress, but she might not know how to get a performance out of another actor or actress to
Right.
bring out their
Yeah.
best performance. You know what I mean? It's different. It's like a basketball player
Yeah,
versus a basketball coach. You
Right.
know, that basketball player might be really good, but can't show anybody else how to do it the same way or teach them how to be good.
right.
You know what I mean? He might have
Mhm.
tips, tricks, and stuff like that, but a coach is there to bring the whole team together to do this, which is different. It's a lot more challenging.
Mhm.
And you're right with Dave Filoni. He's so used to animation. I think
Yeah.
some of it though too was also the content they had to direct as
Yeah,
well.
that's true.
Mhm.
But some of it, because 1, 2, and 3, you get a lot of cool scenery to work with. You got a lot of moving different scenes, different parts, a lot of cool action, a lot of cool stuff. I would say
Yeah.
in 4 there was definitely still some cool action, but it was a little bit more one place type thing with certain, you had to do that. So she was a little bit pigeonholed in some ways as to what she had to work with.
Yeah,
And then I think they gave Dave Filoni Tatooine just because they were like, nobody else wanted to be like, I don't want to do Tatooine.
I don't wanna
You know
spread
what I
this up.
mean?
Yeah.
So they gave it to the most
the
veteran.
holy
as far
land
as,
of Star Wars.
Yeah, you know what I
Right.
mean?
But do you know who wrote that episode?
Who?
Dave Filoni.
Oh, he wrote that.
He
episode.
wrote. He's the only other one that single-handedly wrote an episode.
Oh, I didn't
Huh.
know that.
Right.
When that makes sense why he did that.
Right. He
Mhm.
basically.
But and that episode still feels like it would have worked so much better in animation.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I
it probably
honestly
would've.
feel like it would have worked so much better in animation because I wouldn't have felt so.
And that's you think that's how he writes his stories. He's
Yeah.
only written them for animation.
And that makes
So
sense.
he thinks him in his head that way, and he's like, "Oh, I can make it live actors do that. I just
Right.
need to, get him to do what I want him to do."
C-
The story's good, and it was pretty good. I liked where it went as far as a standalone episode.
Yeah, there was aspects of it I really liked.
Yeah. Like I like the at the beginning, the dialogue. I don't know if that means that he writes every line of dialogue.
But
Maybe
I'm sure the actors
there were some
get to do a
because there
little
were
bit of
some
both.
lines that were like, they're a little cheesy.
Yeah.
They felt
Little-
too. You
Yeah.
pointed to Dustin's nose last time. They
Yeah,
felt a little on the nose.
Yep.
But yeah, you know what I'm saying. It's just so I don't know how that goes when you
Right.
write the story. Do you write the
Yeah.
script? Do you not? I don't know. But I feel like in this one it was back to Favreau. So again, however that works in these shows, we don't know all the in between stuff, but all the details.
So I think the best ones I think that have clicked the most, and some of my favorite episodes so far really have been 2 and this episode 2 and 6, as far as like content and kind of wow factor in a lot of ways. Content,
Yeah.
scenery, shot choices, and everything like that. I still think 1 is really good too.
Mhm.
though,
Yep.
just because it's a great introduction. I know Filoni did that one. Again, I think he had more to work with in that scene as well.
Right.
Mhm.
But I just keep thinking that 5. I just keep thinking in my head. I'm like, animation. Watching that one in animation probably would have blown my mind
Yeah.
in
Mhm.
certain ways. I would have loved
It'd
it in
been great.
animation.
Yeah.
I think I don't know why, but I
Yeah.
just keep seeing that episode in my head.
Do you think? But
As
it wasn't
animated.
the CG. It wasn't the CG.
No,
It
not
wasn't-
really.
It was the acting moments with the
It-
people.
Yeah, exactly.
Probably. That's where it fell apart. Like when
And
the
a little
ship's
bit
flying
too heavy-handed on canon. That was the other
okay.
part that I
Yeah.
just felt like okay.
right into the cantina. The guy's sitting right where Han Solo sat.
Right,
Come
yeah.
sit down.
and that
some of the-
felt just
Some of the
wrong
lines.
to me.
Yeah.
Right.
That
a little-
guy.
It was like,
And that guy just didn't work for me in this
Right.
very well.
yeah.
I wish they would have played him a little bit more like he really knew what he was doing
Right.
Yeah.
the whole time. I think
Yeah.
if they would have played it more that way, it would have been a stronger episode.
Yeah.
But really, it mounted to nothing, really.
Yeah.
Kinda.
Yeah.
It really was
Yeah.
other than introducing the Shan, what's her name?
Fennec Shand.
Fennec
I think
Shand.
it's with a D. at
Although
the end.
she's
it's
pretty
with
much
a D.
done, unless she's not.
I think she's done. Yeah.
But
Yeah.
then the character at the end, almost the whole point of that episode was to make you think that Boba Fett's back.
Right.
Whereas I
Yeah.
don't think it's Boba Fett. I think it's
Yeah.
actually going to be the Moff guy because she was there to meet somebody on
In
that
Boba's
planet.
armor.
I mean, it could be, but I don't
Or
know.
maybe
I
it's
have
just armor.
I thought that's who they were going to be rescuing in
doubt.
this one.
Right.
Boba Fett.
No, the
Boba Fett.
Moff
The
Gideon.
Moff. You did say that.
I
yeah.
wondered if they were, who else would be a bigger target in this, jail thing.
And that's a good point because it's like I feel like they've missed a few things that they could have done better.
Yeah.
Like in this one, not that it wasn't good, but it was like they could have had who they were rescuing be someone bigger or more important
Yeah.
to the story overall.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
It would have been
Yeah.
better because it would have been if it was that Moff guy, because then it would have
Progress the story.
progressed the story.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Whereas they were
This
just kind of
It was
saving
like,
somebody from the past,
Right.
Yeah.
and then is he dead now? I think he's gone already. So what was the
Right.
point of that? I mean,
Right. Yeah,
again,
it
so it's-
didn't progress.
that's
It
what
was
it's like they're missing certain
self-contained.
things. It was like
Yeah.
Yeah.
Fennec Shan could have been somebody that could have popped up again later. They killed her off. She could
Right.
have been a player
Right.
throughout. Maybe she's not dead. She could
Yeah.
come back, but
far
it was
as I
almost
know.
to introduce another person that we don't even know who it is.
Right.
Right.
So
I feel
that's
like
I'm
what
saying.
they're-
It's missing like certain things some ways, and I think they could have progressed the story even more if
Sure.
they would have made
Yeah.
certain choices. But who knows? Again, without seeing the whole series as a whole.
Yeah.
Right.
And this episode really worked well. Sorry.
That's
go ahead.
that's where I'm at too. I feel like the episode was, and then when that was the last person I expected was the Twi'lek brother of the girl.
Yeah.
Like if anything, I thought maybe it'd be this guy's brother, the guy who was
Yeah,
on
that would've
point,
made
Bill Burr
sense.
or whatever his name was,
Yeah.
or even the guy back in the beginning,
or
like
the guy with the
yeah.
long
Yeah.
hair, or somebody that he knew, not just the brother. But then it was Quinn, so you find out, it was somebody that a part of the Mando's
he had a
history.
past.
Yeah,
They were
it's
kind
like-
of trying to introduce more of his
right,
past,
and they were,
Yeah.
which is
made
interesting.
sense. It
yeah,
did progress the story a little bit, but from a backwards.
Yeah, right.
Backwards perspective.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
but at least you can say that there was some story. It wasn't like just some filler type thing.
Yeah.
So it was really well done, and it wasn't complete filler in the sense that it had nothing at all to do with the bigger overall story.
Right,
It definitely had something to do with it, more about his past than, where the story's going. Except that they almost once again made off with Baby Yoda
Yep.
and left the Mando on that space station. Like, wow, how's he gonna get out of this one?
Right.
They're like, oh, because
Very carefully.
what was the droid? Zero.
Zero.
Found out about, Carl Weathers, found
Yeah.
that transmission
Yep.
and realized about
That was
the
interesting.
child. And
Yeah.
so I thought that was interesting tying into that again, which again still ties to the main story.
Yeah.
Did they ever wait? What happened to the droid? Did they ever show? Oh
He
yeah,
got
he got
yeah,
shot. What
blasted,
am I saying?
yeah.
Sorry, duh.
In that really cool shot
Remember?
when
Because he sees
the baby Yoda's like gonna use
Yeah.
the Force.
right.
Yeah.
And then suddenly he's
blast the
like,
shot.
"Phew!" And
Yeah.
he's like,
That's great.
wow.
Like, whoa, I'm that powerful.
right.
Yeah, he was truly amazed.
That
was
was
great.
impressive.
I just love when he first sees the baby Yoda, and he goes to get his gun, goes back, and he's
It's
just gone. And he's just
Yeah.
looking around.
That was
for him.
hilarious, which played so well into Family Yua's story or directing. His suspense. It was almost like this whole thing was designed so that he could get to the point of suspense.
Yeah.
Because it was like once you finally got to that point of suspense, you were just like, wow. Well, the Mandalorian was getting beat up for a while.
Again.
And
he
you were
was,
like,
yeah.
oh man, he's done for.
Right.
And then he turns around and becomes this mastermind.
Right.
And then you
Yeah.
really see his skills again.
Starts sectioning off the...
separates them,
Yeah.
and then it becomes like he is both hunter.
He's the best.
You're right. He was both
Yeah.
prey and hunter.
Yeah.
What was that?
Hunter and prey.
Hunter and
Hunter
prey.
and prey,
Because
yeah.
he was prey in the beginning for sure.
Yeah.
They
Oh, yeah.
definitely were gonna, and they did betray him, and
Yep.
then he became the hunter. Turned
Yep.
it around on him, which is cool, and is something that the Mandalorian, obviously, that we keep seeing is good at. He's
Yeah.
good at getting beat up.
Yep.
back
Good at
up.
getting out of stuff.
Yeah.
And yeah,
Yeah.
exactly.
And he had a lot of cool melee fights in this one against the,
Oh, yeah.
against the
Even those
droids,
droids,
but
that was
against the
awesome.
guys. Yeah, just really using his tech, kind of like back to episode 2, maybe more episode 3 with when he fought all the bounty hunters and stuff. He used all of his tricks. You know,
Yep.
not all of them worked, but he always finds a way to get out. That's why they brought him on that thing. You know, he took down the droids marching down the hallway that apparently the other guys couldn't do in that moment.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
Well,
and then they just
it
let
was-
him.
yeah, they were just kind of letting him, I think.
So that was kind of a cool, epic moment.
Yeah.
I
And
feel
then they
like,
were oh, wow, he really does hate droids.
Right. Oh, wow.
that's right.
A lot of ways. But it really showcased his talents in a lot of ways. as
Yeah.
how
Yeah.
good
And
he
it
was.
also reinforces the fact that he's not the best because he still gets hit.
He still gets hit, but I
Yeah.
mean,
Yeah.
he pretty much any situation he's presented with, though, he overcomes.
Yeah.
He might
always
get
gets
beat
hit
up along the
and
way,
beat up,
but he
he's always
overcomes it.
better.
But
And again, though, with the baby Yoda, you know, he got it back,
Yeah.
or you know, was able to save it, but
Yeah.
it was close again.
Close again.
You know, he's
Why does he
still
keep-
taking this,
Right?
you know, and that's why he was like not planning on the ship. So he must have
Yeah.
contacted that guy and said, "Hey, I need some money because he's
Yeah.
got to fix up his ship or get wherever he's got to go." I mean,
And it was funny at the end, he told the baby Yoda, he's like, I told you that was a bad idea.
I told you that was bad.
Which in some ways is
Right.
like, is he just talking to himself? Or talking to baby like he's baby Yoda like he's Wilson from
Right. Wilson.
Wilson.
I'm sorry,
Wilson. Or
Yeah,
or
I
is
don't
baby
know.
Yoda talking to him?
I have no
Right.
idea.
What
Told you
is
that was
going
bad.
on there?
Right.
Yeah,
Communicating telepathically.
also I liked with the
Telepathically.
telepathetic. That's how we say it. Telepathetic.
I'm a telepathetic.
I'm telepathetic. No, I liked how they showcased each one of the crew though.
Yeah.
Like, what's the lead guy? He was a good gunner, really. When
Yeah.
they showcased his
He's
gun,
a
shooting skills?
Imperial sharpshooter.
yeah,
Yeah.
which is
But he
cool.
wasn't a
He wasn't a
stormtrooper.
stormtrooper. I liked how they said that. That was
Yeah.
hilarious. And how they also showed, she was awesome with those knives.
Yeah.
And like very like,
The Twi'lek.
yeah, that was cool. And then they obviously showed the muscle.
Yep.
Clancy
Yeah.
Brown's
He's just a big
character.
dumb brute. Really.
Yeah.
This is it was so good. Like I wish, honestly, because I heard rumors a while back that basically this story was going to be like the Boba Fett's movie,
Yeah.
or where there was a movie where they were like
Yeah,
working
right.
on that was like this. But I was thinking while I was watching, I was like, this is basically what the Han Solo movie should have been.
Yeah.
A
Interesting.
heist film.
Yeah. Yep.
It should have all been completely heist. Like this, a crew. They had aspects of that in the Solo movie,
Yeah.
Yeah.
but they should have really made the whole thing.
Those were some of my favorite parts.
Exactly.
The heist, the train heist.
Yeah.
All those things were crazy, and then
Yeah.
they killed off half the characters. You know.
Yeah, and that's what
Spoilers.
that's what kind
Yeah.
of made it. Yeah, and that's another thing about the show. Sometimes is that even in the end they weren't dead. I mean, a lot
Right.
of people died in this show,
Yeah.
but that's what makes it feel sometimes more Star Wars when they don't kill off everybody.
Right.
Right.
Because
And it's
Star
like,
Wars
oh.
doesn't always kill off everybody.
Yeah.
That's true.
I-
It's like,
I
oh,
don't
they're,
know.
they're gonna come back for future episodes.
Feels a little bit more
Whereas-
PG-13 in some ways
Yeah.
to me when they don't kill off people, depending on who it is and what it is. I mean, if
Right.
it's a big villain, you gotta take him out. Although nobody ever really dies in Star Wars.
Right.
The
yeah.
Emperor.
Emperor. Palpatine.
Palpatine.
Yeah.
Up to your no good tricks.
Yeah.
It's just interesting the way they laid out the episodes. You know, even in the order of things, because it's almost like they could have flip flopped
Mm-hmm.
5 and well, I guess they did tie in the scene where he's like, we got to lay low for a few months
Yeah.
after episode chapter 3 to 4,
Yeah.
and then 5. You know, could have been this one. You know, 6 could have been. the one before.
because
They
It
could have flipped them because they were so isolated.
unique. on
They
their
start off
own.
in space, they end in space.
Yeah.
There we go. You
Yeah.
know, there wasn't anything else directly again pushing that
Pushing
forward
that
where it
story.
was a straight linear.
Yeah.
But again,
They're peppering in like very small, minute things as to who the Mandalorian was. We're still learning about the Mandalorian in very small ways throughout
Yeah.
each episode.
yep.
But it's really not. It doesn't feel like enough because I'm just wondering what are they gonna do for next week
Right.
Yeah.
7
and the last one. I mean, they're
I
gonna
think
have
it's
to tie
gonna
everything.
be heavy storyline. It has
Yeah.
to be at this point. I
Yeah.
said that about this one, and yeah, I think it's gonna be heavy story 7 and 8 because it's gonna end on a big high note,
Yeah.
and that one ends after Rise of Skywalker comes out. The
Yeah.
next one comes out, I think, this coming Wednesday. So
Yeah.
there's only
Yeah.
like 5 days between this one and the next one.
That's gonna be interesting.
So that'll be interesting.
Oh, which does bring me to another thing. I know a lot of people online, a lot of people I've been thinking the same thing somewhat, is the scene with Rey. This is all ties in together, but the scene with Rey where she goes in episode 8 where she's all like, it's all her and she's snapping.
Yeah.
A lot of people think that that's because she's a clone,
Uh-huh.
which is
Uh-huh.
interesting to me. That actually makes it a lot more interesting
Yeah.
than if she's just a nobody.
Right.
And then,
Nobody.
I mean,
You're
that's
nothing.
okay too, but then also now with Baby Yoda, is he a clone?
Right.
There's a whole clone aspect there, and a lot of people are wondering: is episode 7 of The Mandalorian
a clone.
gonna be a tie-in to episode 9 as far as like maybe clone technology or something like that, where
Right.
they're working on that? That could lead up to the Emperor,
Mm.
Yeah.
and then episode 8 is gonna come out after. And so maybe then they can really
Maybe
reveal
Werner
it.
Herzog is
you know?
Snoke.
No.
He
That'd be
gets
crazy.
He gets the clone Jello.
Seems a
and-
little bit old
Clone Jello, yeah.
to be that, but
Yeah, you're
maybe
right.
I don't know.
Well, and he was pretty tall and
Yeah.
long and
Yeah.
lanky, and
But it
So, no.
just messed him up, you know?
Yeah.
Gave him immortality, but he's still
Yeah.
old, but now he's all goofy.
what is the Emperor gonna look like?
Well, there's
remember when he got
there's been a lot of rumors.
You remember when
About
he?
what he
Well,
is
I'm
and
saying,
what
you
he
remember
isn't.
when he got zapped and the Revenge of the Sith and
Yeah.
Yeah.
got all like
Not all
curdled,
Yeah.
and then he got zapped again at the end of
Curdled.
6. At the end of 6, he got zapped again and thrown down the shaft.
Oh, good, people
Yeah.
say. You know, just how he's delivering those lines is so eerie, but it's so like well done. That he delivers that kind of stuff really well, but then he does the over the top stuff like unlimited power. no. You know, he's
No.
laughing.
Yeah.
He plays the small moments well. I mean, it really
Yeah.
just
Yeah.
shows the actor's ability.
Yeah,
He's a master actor. But it's funny because he gets to ham it up so much, but then also
Yeah.
deliver those "doth plagueis the wise."
Yeah.
You know how he says all that.
Yep.
So well done. Anyway,
well, I think we're gonna be surprised. We're talking about Mandalorian and Rise of Skywalker at the same exact time. That's the title of this episode, so it's okay to go back and forth because Rise is gonna be interesting, and I think
be
it's gonna
interesting.
give us food
Right.
for thought as we watch the Mandalorian again,
I hope they
one
tie
way
it
or
together.
another. Yeah,
Right.
I think it's a missed opportunity again
yeah.
if they
If they
don't
don't,
tie
yeah.
things together.
Historically, they haven't done that a lot, except for
No.
a nugget here and there. They did it in
And
Rogue
in books
One.
a little bit, but
Yep,
it's never
they did-
been it's
Not
really
the
never been
big-
enough.
not the episodic movies.
Yeah, it's never really
Yeah.
been enough to connect the movies with actual other canon that's going on. And I
Right.
think a lot of the time
I
that's
think-
a big missed opportunity. You
I think
could
it
make
is.
it work so much better.
But I also think they run the risk of
It
messing up.
depends, but that's why they have a story group. I mean, that's why they have a bunch of people watching over this
If
stuff.
anybody could do
Yeah.
it, Lucasfilm could do it.
Yeah, they should
Marvel
be doing
does it
Yeah, exactly.
brilliantly.
Yeah, between
Absolutely
I mean,
brilliantly.
technically those are all movies, not
That's true.
shows.
Right.
But
that's true.
still, Star Wars it could work that well.
Well,
in
that'll be
Star
interesting
Wars.
to see what they do with the Disney Plus Marvel shows.
Yeah.
Because now we're getting into TV, but I'm sure they're going to make it more cinematic. They're taking characters right out of the movie, which they
Yeah.
did with Agent Coulson and that.
Agents
Yeah,
of
but that
S.H.I.E.L.D.
was definitely still a little bit more of like a
Yeah, side.
side thing. And then they
Yeah.
even started separating from the movies.
It's true.
And I think now I don't even know if they're in the same universe.
Well, they
Right.
could play it because of the timeline. They could play it, with time travel and all that.
Yeah.
In the show, they could
Yeah.
totally make it. No,
Well, and
didn't
that-
have anything to do with it.
Well, that's the
Right.
beauty of Star Wars, though, too, is that because it's not just one planet or whatever, not that
Right.
Marvel isn't, it's a huge galaxy. You can still tie things in and weave things in and out.
Yeah.
You
Yep.
know, they can show up for a minute together and then be gone, never see each other again. Or it could have bigger implications into
Implementation.
Implementation.
implications into the larger universe Star Wars, and what's going on throughout the universe, and that's kind of one of the beautiful things.
Beautiful.
Apparently, I've lost.
It's getting a little late.
Yeah.
I lost
You're getting all
my
tongue
ability
tied
to
over there.
speak. But now I'm losing my point. I don't even remember where I was going.
You can weave
But
stuff.
No, with Star Wars, how they have like the governing body of the whole universe,
Right.
and then they bring it down even to a small farm boy, all in the same film. You know
Yeah.
what I
Yeah.
mean? It's such a large scope.
Yeah.
They don't narrow things in too much. I mean, they do, but
Yep.
then they also play to the bigger
Yeah.
side of everything.
I was gonna
So-
say I like the New Republic tie-in.
Yeah.
That was a
Oh,
big
yeah, that was a good
kind of
one.
hook at the end of
Yep.
this
that's
episode. That
more
already
New
great-
Republic tie-in than
Yeah.
the movies.
Right.
it's true. You're like, oh, the New Republic actually does
And
stuff.
you actually
they don't
saw the New Republic.
Right.
don't
yeah.
just get
I mean,
annihilated.
we did
Oh,
see
look
the
at
New
that. They're
Republic,
boom. Oh, they're dead.
but- done.
That's one thing I wanted to
Oh.
New
praise
Republic.
praise this episode, and in my opinion, 5 over 4.
Yeah.
But just the scope of the episode.
Right.
It felt like you were in a big universe again. 4, you're back in, or 5, you're back at Tatooine, but I liked the scope of Tatooine. They went across the Dune Sea. They flew in a space battle, and then they drifted over to, not instantly, they hung out on the ship for a little bit, and then they finally made their way to Tatooine and, did that whole thing.
Yeah.
It was kind of like it was like they just popped up on Tatooine.
Yeah, I guess
Like,
that's true.
Oh, look over
Oh
there.
yeah, they were like
There's
floating in space and then auxiliary power. Oh look,
But
Tatooine.
But the whole
It's almost
episode
like-
could have taken place just around the cantina in that village.
yeah.
Yeah.
But they went out to the Dune Sea and they had that whole thing out in the desert, multiple stops along the way. Whereas I feel like the jungle world or forest world felt like it was like just down a hop, skip, and a jump down the road to
Yeah.
me, but that's okay. I felt like this one was back to like the caliber of 1, 2, and 3.
Yeah, for sure.
Maybe not
Star
pushing the
Wars-esque.
story forward, but
yeah.
yes.
It still did in
Big
some
universe.
aspects,
Yeah.
but
And something we hadn't seen before. A
Yeah.
couple things we hadn't seen before.
I liked it though.
Yeah.
Yeah.
This could have been a movie. Like
Yeah.
this
Oh, I'd
episode.
like to see a movie like
Yeah.
this.
Yeah.
If you would have made this a Boba Fett movie, can you imagine with like
Yeah.
other bounty hunters and they
Right,
got to
yeah.
go save a bigger target? A bigger one of the huts is like you have to save a Moff
Right.
from the New Republic.
Yeah.
That would have been huge.
Yeah.
I mean,
Huge,
that
yeah.
would have been working out, and there could have been betrayal along the way, which there was.
Yep.
Yeah.
That's what made this one interesting in a lot of
Yeah.
ways. There was betrayal. There was like interest. There was.
I feel like, was this the longest episode so far?
Yeah.
it was 44
42.
minutes. I meant
It was,
42.
if not,
42 or 44.
Yeah.
42.
42.
Oh,
it was, if not the
don't
longest, it was one of the longest.
Fact
Yeah.
checker.
So
it was the longest. Okay,
It was the longest. Yeah.
We're getting confirmation. It was
and
the longest.
actually, to me, it actually felt like the longest
Yeah.
because there
I
was a
agree.
couple times where, not that I felt like it was too long, but they've primed us to be like it's about a half hour. It wraps
yeah,
up pretty
you were
quick.
starting to think you're like,
I'm like,
how
oh,
are they
this is
gonna...
probably the end. It's still going.
Yeah,
still
you're
coming.
right.
He's still slowly hunting them one by one.
Yeah.
They didn't just cut and then they're in that jail cell. He hunted them one by one and took
Yeah.
them down, and then they went back to the thing, and I figured, okay, this is the end.
Yeah.
And then there was still a little bit of canoodling there at the end, and then
Yeah.
then the New Republic shows up with that fob or whatever that was,
That
that
was
tracker.
smart.
That
Smart move.
another smart move by the
Yeah.
Mandalorian, which he
Mm.
has some bright moments there.
Yeah.
That was
Yeah.
good.
He didn't trust anybody in this episode either,
Nope.
which was genius, and it really
Yeah.
worked out in his favor.
Yeah.
Just like old times.
Yeah,
That's
just
the
like
line.
old times. Yeah,
That was the line for the show. But what did you guys think about, big spoiler, at the end, the New Republic ships?
the cameos.
The cameos.
Yeah.
Like,
Cameos.
That was
Oh.
great.
It's Dave Filoni.
It's like, oh my
It's
god,
Rick.
Dave Filoni.
I'm 99% sure, maybe fact checker, that was Rick Famuyiwa.
You
Why
look-
wouldn't
yeah.
it be?
Mhm.
And then that was Deborah Chow, who
Yep.
directed the
Yeah.
third
Yeah.
episode. So
It definitely looked like all three of them, and
Yeah.
that was great. I mean, if you,
yeah,
because the funny thing is, if you didn't know who those people were, you'd have just been like,
Right.
oh yeah, those are New Republic
Right.
Yep.
X-wing fighters.
Yeah.
it worked.
That made sense.
Yeah,
And it was such a great way to pepper them in
Yeah, exactly.
to the show. I just like seeing Dave Filoni though
Right.
in the flesh.
has
in
he
the
ever
show.
done that?
I don't think he's
I
ever
don't
been
think
in the flesh.
He's never had a
because
chance.
maybe a movie in a background or something, but I think we would have heard about that. I know he's voiced
Yeah,
characters
okay.
somewhat in his shows, but really that was the first time, and
Do
he
you
was
think-
a New Republic X-wing fighter, which was so cool on its
Yeah.
own because those were classic X-wings.
Yeah.
You
Yeah.
know,
Yeah.
I mean, it's still 5 years after, but that's still they wouldn't have really made.
No, there's not
Yeah.
much.
Oh man.
So that was awesome. I was still
Not much
the only
upgrades.
thing in that scene was like, okay, they just blow the whole place up.
Yeah,
That's
right.
what I
They're
was
not
like,
gonna use it for
That's
anything,
a
or
Right,
bit
it's like-
excessive.
Well, it's like, there's the fob. Yep, it's there.
Well, I think it was
They
because
just blindly shot it.
I don't think it was that. It was because they were said that they were launching a fighter,
Right.
Yeah.
so they just
And that was
basically
actually
assumed
that whole
was,
sequence. Like, oh, this is this bomb fighter. That was a pretty cool shot.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's like,
Slowly
this is
comes through.
sweet.
Like, oh, I want to see that thing fly.
Yeah, me
Right.
too.
Oh man, it got
Oh,
blown up.
man.
Yeah, it's gone. Good night.
I was like, hey, the Mando could take it for his second car.
Second
Right,
car,
second
towing
car.
it behind.
I'm
His
a
little
single.
dinghy.
I'm a single dad on the run. I need a second car.
No,
Yeah.
he does feel more and more like a dad in a lot of ways
Yeah.
in this show.
Yeah,
It's
he
so
does.
funny.
He really
They've
does.
kind of crafted him into that. And this one, he didn't want to kill the one guy,
right.
No.
the Imperial
yeah.
soldier or whatever he was. He kind of
And-
softened it up a little
Yeah,
bit.
and that's why he's saying
So some-
almost like it's that was a long time ago. Like he's not just
Yeah.
yeah.
That was a long
he's not
time
just
ago.
a bloodthirsty. It almost
It's like,
it
okay,
almost
okay.
implied that he was a bit bloodthirsty in the past,
Right.
Yeah.
Because she said
Target
you
practice.
liked
Yeah.
it,
Target
stuff
practice.
like that. So I feel like there has been a little bit of a change in him and stuff like that. And then they're giving you a little bit of those details, and I think maybe they'll fully explore things. It's smart to give us time. The only thing is I just wish they were progressing the story a little bit more. But
Yeah.
I think 7 and 8 are going to ramp up.
And people still complain that, well, the typical TV is 22 episodes. So if you throw a filler in, or 2 or 3, that's okay. Because it's a 22 episode
Yeah.
season,
Yes.
of an hour long maybe, or a half an hour long, or
Mhm.
however long. And, this is pretty short,
Yeah.
8 episodes.
It
Yeah.
feels
and-
like we're building up to a mid-season
Yeah, you're right.
finale.
It's
Right.
almost like season 2 is going to be
I feel
the
like they
second
might,
half of season 1.
they
or
might
something.
end up playing that way. The only thing is I don't know when they're still filming that. So
But if
it'd be a huge surprise if they're like, and Mandalorian season 2 comes out in January.
Yeah,
You
that would
know?
be a
That'd be
huge
nuts.
surprise.
That would be awesome.
That'd be great.
I mean, that'd be awesome.
Oh my gosh.
I feel like they're in a lot of ways dipping their toes
Yeah.
in the streaming, just kind of setting the bar,
Set in the mood.
setting the mood. This has never been done before, where there's like not a set time for each episode. It's just whatever works.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
they're trying different things, going back to Tatooine, giving some fan service. They're probably feeling out what fans are really digging.
Yeah.
In that, and then they can
improve upon it.
improve
and
upon
expand.
that, and just give them ideas for the future.
It's a lot of
So,
testing going on right now,
Yeah.
but I like
Yeah.
this longer episode.
Yeah.
I thought it worked well.
Yeah.
The scenery was great. I like that it was in a ship.
Yeah.
Both places was like in a hangar, which felt so Star Wars, and the ship
Ship
felt
was sweet.
so Star
Yeah.
Wars. They had a classic looking New Republic guy in it, which I was surprised by, but his outfit worked.
He looked
Yeah.
familiar to me too.
And then
actor wise.
oh man, I loved seeing a Twi'lek, a female Twi'lek live action
Yeah.
more so, because I don't think they've really done that as far as like a character.
Mm-hmm.
Granted, she was a little crazy,
Yeah.
but then like Deveronian, I think is the name of his species, the horned guy, which is really cool to see live action. I like when they add in aliens. That's the thing.
Yeah.
Star Wars,
Yeah.
add in the aliens. They're unique. That's what gives Star Wars uniqueness. So
They all still
Right.
spoke basic, but
yeah,
yeah.
they still have their own languages, but that basic is the main language of Star Wars. It's basic
Yeah.
is English, really, which kind of represents our world in a lot of ways. English is typically a lot of people's second languages if they have a main language in their country.
Yeah.
Not always the case. I mean, we're Americans, so we don't mean
So
that in a
we're
rude way.
We got a
But,
comment.
but that's the case in a lot of ways. But this is kind of like
Yeah.
that. Basic is the basic language for all species across the galaxy.
Yeah.
Not everybody speaks it, but it's the main one that generally everybody knows. So
Right.
All right. So we did get a comment from Basic Attacker here. Says,
Basic.
do you think Anakin will be in 9?
ooh,
It's a good question. Do you know spoilers?
I
You
don't know.
they
I don't
haven't-
know.
Okay.
I don't know
Well,
that
let's
one.
break it down real quick for Basic Attacker. Thanks for the comment.
Yeah, thanks for the
Yeah.
comment.
Yeah, and
I
his
like the comments.
his or hers
Keep them coming if you guys have any more.
Yeah.
his or hers user picture profile is Patrick Starr.
Oh my gosh.
It's
That's
perfect.
awesome.
Yes.
Yeah, we like it, Basic.
Right.
Very good. So, episode 9, do you think Anakin will be in it? Maybe.
I mean,
I think yes. but if I say yes, I'm 51% yes.
51%.
Because if they're gonna do anything,
really is.
if this is the end of the Skywalker saga, Anakin was a huge part of that. If you got Palpatine back, maybe it's just a flashback. Maybe it's a hologram, holofeed, short thing that they refilm with Anakin. I don't know.
Yeah.
It's insane
Still him
to
in
me.
it, though.
See,
Yeah.
Maybe it's just a Force ghost because they canonized, Anakin as the Force ghost instead of Egghead. And so if they do Force ghosts, I don't know. I picture like an arm in arm Force ghost like hug,
Could be.
and then Anakin might just be standing there, and maybe it's just footage taken from the prequels and they reuse it.
Right.
But I think Basic. I don't know. What do you think, Basic? You think he'll be in there?
Yeah.
What do you think, Nick?
Yeah, see, I think it's going to be something like that. Because, like you were saying earlier, if they brought back Darth Vader, it would, like, totally...
mean the Emperor?
Yeah, the Emperor. But also, if they brought back Darth Vader, it would totally undercut what he did
in episode
6. Yeah. So, yeah, I'm... If they do, I think it'll be a Force ghost, maybe. Or, like, in a flashback. Something like that. They have to. Just... Please don't ruin it.
Right? I just want it to be good.
There's so much tension on this one.
Yeah, there is.
It'll be nice in a way when it's out.
Yeah.
Because then we can just get all the maybe all the behind the scenes stories that we've all wanted to know will come out.
Yeah.
Maybe not, but go ahead.
But I would say, so the thing I keep thinking about is what would feel weirder to me if he was in it or if he wasn't in it, Anakin. And for me, I feel like I don't know. I kind of go, it's kind of 50-50 in a lot of ways. But I almost feel like because this whole arc, the prequels and the main, the original trilogy was Anakin's story. Everything was. I mean, it was more Luke's in 4, 5, and 6, but it was all still Anakin. And I feel like to wrap up the whole Skywalker series without Anakin showing up or Darth Vader.
Yeah.
And I feel like they kind of have to in a way at this point.
Yeah.
I don't know if they will, and that might feel us leaving weird about things.
Yeah.
But also for the fact that they have Darth Vader's helmet in this one again, because that was kind of a big thing in The Force Awakens.
True.
Grandfather, that's Anakin. Yeah, they brought back a Force Ghost already in episode 8. So I agree. I kind of, as cheesy as it might be, but not really, I kind of hope it's a little bit more of a arm-in-arm Force Ghost ending in a lot of ways. I want to see him. I want to see Anakin back. I think he's going to be back also because Hayden Christensen's been back in the Star Wars realm now recently. So I think he's back. So if that answers your question, I think he's going to be, I know you guys think possibly.
Yeah.
But for me, it makes most sense for me to have him back in this film.
Right.
Okay. So the Stay on Target crew is leaning toward seeing
yes.
Hayden Christensen, Anakin Skywalker back in the fold.
Good question, though. That is a hard one to answer,
Yeah,
though. It
right.
really
That's
was.
deep. That's a deep cut. I don't know.
Well, yeah, you got to think about how they'll do it,
If the story works, if it feels like if they feel like they're just peppering in characters just to pepper them in. But see, I don't think JJ does that because he is so intricate. One thing I appreciated after watching Force Awakens again, some of the little details. He doesn't pull from canon like other people.
Yeah,
But what he does intentionally,
Mm-hmm.
I mean, besides the red arm or whatever the goof at the end.
Yeah.
Whatever that
He
was.
misses things, though. He definitely misses things
Yeah.
that he probably should have done some more research into. Or
And this
somebody,
one-
I think the story group or somebody else, like
needs
Dave
to come
Filoni,
alongside him.
I think Dave Filoni should still be overseeing the creative side. Just to be like, oh, no, this is more, what affects Star Wars. This is how it plays out. I think there should have been more of that, of somebody overseeing JJ and Rian Johnson and both of them. I think they needed to have somebody more like, okay, you can still do your thing, kind of, but don't do that because you're going to ruin the rest of canon.
Right, yeah.
Like you did.
This is the path. This is the way.
This is the way.
So he followed up with, I hope he's in it. Basic Attacker hopes he's in it.
Nice.
So conversation's going here. And he said, I hope he's in it. And he convinced Kylo to turn to the light. But I am not sure it'll happen that way.
Yeah.
Right.
It might not, but that would be interesting.
Yeah.
I think that would be
That would
cool,
be.
If, Kylo's fighting the Emperor and then Anakin shows up and is like, he gives him encouraging, like, you can do it, or something like that. You've
Right,
been
maybe
misguided
there's-
this whole time.
Yeah, maybe there's some moment where he's trying to really channel some dark power, and then Anakin's
where
like,
he finally,
that's not the way, man.
Well, and maybe
this is not the way.
or maybe he, this is not the way.
Oh man.
Do way. No, but maybe he finally realizes and accepts the light side call, and when he does that, Anakin's there because
Right.
at the end of episode 6, he's a Force ghost,
Mm-hmm.
a light side Force ghost, as far as we know.
True.
So that would make sense to me in a lot of ways. So I kind of hope so too. It would also give Anakin more of a story point in this.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So it's not just he shows up and is like, "Hey, what's up?" and then peace out.
Right. Hey, what's
Yeah.
up? I'm
Right.
gonna go that way. See you later.
Hello.
Okay, how much of the movie do you think?
We basically switched to Rise of Skywalker.
Yeah,
well, we can finish up. Let's finish up. I mean,
Yeah, we gotta.
well, Mando and finish up this, but
Okay.
let's go back to Mando real quick. In the episode, or out of the episodes so far, 6 chapters.
yeah, I was gonna say.
Yeah.
What order would you put them in?
Favorite?
Favorite one to
Favorite.
6
Oh,
1 to
goodness.
6
of the episodes. I'll say mine because it's really easy.
Yeah, go ahead.
It's not
That's
that
probably
easy.
gonna
It's
echo
not-
ours in
It's
a
not
lot of
that
ways.
easy.
Right.
But
It's not-
I
it's
would
not-
probably say chapter 3, chapter 2, I think, for me. And then it's going to be 6, today's episode. And then it's probably 1, 5, 4 for me. So 3, 2, 6, 1, 5, 4.
I'm just trying to remember what they all
So
are.
3
I know,
was
right? I'm like thinking in my head.
3 was the
yeah,
battle.
I remember what they are.
Yeah,
Yeah,
when he went
yeah.
back against Herzog.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
2 was the first disintegrations with the
Yeah,
Jawas.
yeah, that was
6
good.
was today. So, but 2 and 3 go back and forth. But 3 was so epic. This is the way.
This is the way.
All the Mandalorian stuff they put in that one took it over the top for me.
Although
and when the Mandalorians came in at the end.
Yeah, although I felt like if Femi Yua would have directed that one, 3, I
Yeah.
think it would have potentially taken it up a notch.
All right. So where are you at? Bro.
I'm pretty close. Do you want to go here? We'll have Nick go
Okay.
next.
Yeah, I'd say 3 is my favorite. Let's see.
It's tough. That's a tough question.
It's
I would
on the
say
spot to list them all.
1 and then 2. Just because I like 1 and how they introduced the Mandalorian.
Yeah,
Also, IG11.
IG-11 was
He was
great.
hilarious.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And the big plot twist at the end.
Oh, and I have spoken.
Oh yeah.
I've spoken.
I wonder when he'll see him again.
I don't know. I feel like
Yeah.
we will.
Maybe in the second season.
Maybe 7
But
and 8.
2. Wait, what did I say? Yeah, 3, 1, 2. And then 6,
So 3, 1, 2. Okay, 6.
6, and then 5, and then 4.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
4 still the bottom.
4 is Fire Nation.
Fire Nation. Yeah.
And it's not a horrible. This is a pretty tough.
Yeah,
Pretty
because they're all
top
good
shelf.
in their
Yeah.
own way.
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
agree.
They all have moments.
They all have great moments because it's like, for me, it's tough because it's like, do you pick the overall story of that episode
Mm-hmm.
or do you
Right.
pick the awesome scenes that happened in that
Right,
episode?
Yeah.
So what if you go Dustin reverse order? So go least to most.
Least to most, see, for me, 4 and 5 are almost neck and neck.
Yeah.
Just because of that heavy-handed nature of 5 just really
Yeah.
rubbed me the wrong way.
Yeah.
I don't know why. It still just bugs me. I know it doesn't bug everybody that way, but something about it just didn't click. That the character of the kid, too many humans in that episode. It felt like, honestly, maybe a fan film person could have done a better job.
Yeah.
That
Yeah.
sounds terrible. I don't mean that
Right,
really,
yeah.
but
Yeah.
Don't mean to
But
discredit you.
I don't mean to discredit. I that sounds rude. I still think it was a good episode, and I still liked aspects of it, but there's too much that took me out of that story for me to enjoy the whole episode. I liked the speeder bikes. That was cool. I liked how they did certain aspects of it. But anyway, I'd say 4 and 5 are pretty much at the bottom. I almost feel like 4 maybe edged it out a little bit for me. Edged out 5, which is crazy to say
Yeah.
because
Yeah, that's cool.
I like seeing. So I'd say maybe 5 at the bottom right now.
Okay.
4 for the fact that I like seeing the ATST.
Yep.
It moved the story along a little bit more.
Yeah.
For a potential place for them. I
Yep.
agree some of the acting, there was too many humans again.
Yep.
And some of the acting was a little subpar in that episode. But it was nice to be introduced to Cara Dune and, some other things that was going on. And I didn't mind the Fire Nation stuff. I still think they could have maybe done that a little bit better.
Right, yeah.
It was funny. But and there was definitely aspects of it that weren't great. But anyway, after that, I'd say 5, 4. Oh man, what's
3, 2, 1.
No. 5, 4. I'd have to say probably, I don't know, maybe that's tough. I mean, 3, 2, and 1 are really high up there.
Yeah.
But I really liked this episode. There was more more points in this episode where I was like, oh yeah, I like what they're doing here. Okay. I think the only thing they missed in this episode was who they were rescuing. I think it just would have been a little bit more interesting if it was a bigger character, which maybe it might still end up being.
Right.
So, okay. So sorry. It's taking me way too long. 5, 4 from least to greatest. 5, 4, and then I'll actually say 3 next, which is crazy. I really like the Mandalorians.
Mm-hmm.
No, 6 next. Sorry.
Okay.
I'm getting reversed. 5, 4, 6. Although I still think it's probably one of the best ones.
All right. You can change it
I
later.
can't.
So
It's hard for me to choose, and we're going in reverse order.
Right,
yeah, you're doing it weird.
I'm
So
doing it
I
weird,
told you to do it weird.
But I pretty much agree with you guys and what you guys are saying, though. It's
Yeah.
pretty much almost the same. So anyway, we can
Nice.
move on.
Cool. Well,
Let's just see. Moving
we're
on.
over an hour now, so thanks for the questions, guys, out there.
Any other questions?
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah. So we're. I think we're there. Besides the hype for Rise of Skywalker coming out.
Yeah.
Right.
And I don't know if we'll do another live stream before then. Maybe we'll do a live stream waiting in line to go see the movie or something. Maybe we'll do a quick instant reaction video. We could post that or
that'd be
something.
awesome.
Right.
And maybe this coming week, next weekend, I guess it would be. Maybe we'll do, I definitely want to do like a spoiler talk discussion on the Rise of Skywalker.
Yeah.
So
And we have another episode coming out next week. So
we got
both.
Mandalorian coming out. So
it might be a little bit of a longer live stream if we do that.
and it's
next
the week before Christmas. So you think this week is nuts?
Right.
We got
It's
more
just gonna
presents
get
to get.
crazy. And Star Wars.
And Star
On
Wars.
top of
But
holidays.
I think that's the
Yeah.
cool thing. Although it feels like it's a lot right now because we had the Mando. But every other Christmas, or alternating, I guess, except for
Yeah.
last year, we had Star Wars at Christmas time.
Yeah.
Yeah. Right.
Yeah, because we had Episode 7, Rogue One, Episode 8, nothing, and here we are at Episode 9
No, there's no. And after 8, there's Solo.
in the summer.
So you mean
But I mean
last
Christmas.
Last Christmas we didn't have.
Right, that's what I mean.
Yeah,
Right,
okay,
every
gotcha.
Christmas for the last 4 years, we
Sorry.
had Star Wars around Christmas time.
Which I think was a mistake, and they should have had Solo.
They should have
in
done
December.
Solo
Yeah.
in
they should have.
December.
That was a
yeah.
dumb move.
They would have made, and there was snow. There was tons of snow scenes. I don't know, whatever.
Yeah, I know.
All right. Yeah.
I'm justifying it, but anyway, yeah. So we were gonna go over some other stuff, but I think we're hit it for now. This has been a lot of fun, guys.
It's been a lot of
Oh,
fun.
yeah.
Had
It's
some good
always fun.
comments, some good feedback. So what do you guys think about this episode? What do you think about ranking them?
Yeah, let us
Yeah.
know in the
Yeah,
comments.
Drop some comments if you
Yeah.
had any ideas on ranking. We'll
What's your rank?
what your favorite episode is, why.
yeah, we
let us
respond
know.
to
We
all the
like-
comments, and we like watching other YouTubers' reactions and thoughts on this. So it's kind of cool to do it in the moment because there's really not much other feedback. We're just giving our reactions.
Yep.
It's interesting to give ours and then to go hear some other people talk about it
Yeah.
too and see what was similar, what other people are feeling. So we want to see what you guys think and girls about this particular episode. And are you hyped for Rise of
And
Skywalker?
Twilix.
And
Yeah.
Twilix.
And Twilix.
And
You guys hyped?
Sloths
And
and
s-
orangutans.
Oh man, it's gonna be fun.
Oh,
So,
yeah. Good episode. Leave us your comments. Like and subscribe if you haven't already.
Yeah.
Give us some
Do
good
it.
feedback. We like the conversation. We can keep this party going.
Yeah.
Woo.
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 Woo. Good one.
All right.
All right.
Well,
All right.
then.
I think that's about it,
Yes, this has been a blast.
It's been a blast.
I could-
Pew, pew.
I could go into so many more things.
Oh,
but
I know,
will cut
right?
myself
We
off.
could just go off into tangents.
Yeah. Tangent time.
Tangentarine.
Anyway.
Anyway, stay on target.
When the music hits, we're gonna
We're
be out. So
officially
yeah,
out.
if you like the channel, if you like what we're doing here, this is a video podcast. We got some other plans for other videos coming up, so we're excited about all the Star Wars happenings. The music just hit, so
Yeah.
we're about out.
Yeah,
Thanks
all
guys
right.
for checking out the episode, and
Stay on target.
Stay on target.
Loosen up.
They came from behind. and dead.